Hey guys, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over today's lesson and hopefully clarify some questions you might have. So here we go. Write a linear equation from a line. So actually it's supposed to say from a graph. So if you have a graph, right, if you have this line, oh, that's what it means by a line. So from this line, can you come up with a linear equation? Can you come up with y equals mx plus b from this line? Well, you know that you need a y-intercept, don't you, for a line? Okay, we got a y-intercept, but that's not enough. We need a slope, right? So if you have your equation y equals mx plus b, that means that you need, first, you need a beginning, and then second, you need a slope. You need those two things to make that equation. So far, all we got is that. And to begin writing our equation, don't we have a b? It's at -4. So here would be your -4 plus an x, right? Or x plus, oh dang. What is that? Adding a negative is not really just subtracting. So we don't need this right here, right? All right, so there we go. We got our x. Now we need our slope. And then we have our y. So all we need now is a slope. So looking at this, how can I get my rise over my run? My rise over my run. Okay, so if I go here, well, I don't really know what point this is right now, right? It's not a perfect corner, so your instruction says to write a linear equation from a line, first begin with finding the y-intercept. Hey guys, when you're taking the interim, look for the y-intercept. Look for what you know. So I know my y-intercept is at 0, -4. Isn't my y-intercept -4? Therefore, go ahead and put your y-intercept right away. Next, you know that you're going to have an x, right? And then you need your slope. Now, that's where we're stuck here. What is my rise and what is my run of this line? Okay, well, let's go to the instructions. It says, then find a perfect intersection. Find a perfect intersection to find your slope. Okay, well, if I'm going to rise from one point to the other, you need to find a place on this line. You're going to rise, rise, rise. You can't stop here. That's not a perfect intersection. Rise, 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 rise until boom, right here. Do you see how you can see clearly what point this is? So this point right here is at a perfect intersection. I can tell you what that point is, right? It's 2, 1. So what you need to do in order for you to find the slope, you got to find a point on the line. All right, I got my point that's on this line. So now what you want to do is find your rise, 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 and then you got to do your run. How did I get to that point? How do I get to y, or not to y, but to this location? Okay, well, my change in y, how did my y change? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to call this the change in y, because I changed my point from going from down here. I'm going to go up. My change in y is 5. There we go. My change in y is 5 over. Now, how many are you going to run to the right? 1, 2, and I'm going to draw an arrow because I'm going to the positives side. So rise 5, run 2. And there's my slope. Take this, and doesn't that go here? Right? 5 over 2. Isn't that your slope? 5 over 2. And there you go. You created an equation from a graph. So So here we go. Next one. I'll go ahead and do number 6 for you. I don't think we did this one in class. So again, let's find an equation. All right. So what do we have? I know that my equation is going to look like y equals my x plus now b, right? What's b is my y-intercept. So what's going to go here for b? Isn't it that point right there that crosses the y-axis? That's my y-intercept. That's where my line crashes, right? That's where it crashes into the y-axis. So plus 3. All right. Actually, I'm going to erase that. Plus 3. Now, what's my rise and my run? How can I get to my next corner? Well, can I rise 1 and run 1? And won't I land here on the line on the next point? Isn't that a perfect intersection? Yes. So what's my rise? What was my change in y? Rise 1. And I'm going up. And run to the left. So be careful. It's -1 because you went to the left. So your slope is 1. Sorry guys. It's 1 over -1. Oh my bad, that's intercept. Your slope is -1 over 1. Or it's not the same thing as -1 over 1. Or it's not the same thing as 1 over -1. The negative can go outside. The negative can go on top. The negative can go on bottom. It's all the same. Okay, now this one's a special problem though, because look at this. I have different slopes. Isn't there a perfect corner right there? And isn't there a perfect corner right there? What if I chose that slope? Rise 2, left 2. That would be 2 over -2. Hey, isn't that the same thing as -1 over 1? It's the same thing. Because what's 2 divided by 2? It's 1. What's a positive divided by negative? A negative. And so isn't this just the same answer? So your answer here could be a 1 divided by -1. Isn't it just -1? X plus 3. These are all equivalent. 1, 1, 2, 2. What if I pick this point to map with this one? What's your rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went up 5. Okay, well let's do that slope. 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, -5. Okay, well let's simplify that. Isn't that the same thing as 1 over -1? Isn't that the same thing as -1? Right? 5 divided by 5 is 1. A positive divided by negative is negative. Your slope is still negative. That's because, look at all these points fall on the same line. And we said that if you fall on the same line, well, that makes sense because it makes one line, one steepness. Shouldn't they have the same steepness? Shouldn't they have the same line? Shouldn't they have the same slope? Because they're on the same steepness measure. All right. So that's what we had to do with that. Okay, this one. It says a linear equation is written in the form of y equals mx plus b. This is called the slope. And then what comes next? Intercept equation. This equation creates a straight line. We know that. And it describes a steepness with a specific measure, also known as the slope. Okay, so a line, a steepness, a slope, they all mean the same thing, right? A line has points. Those points have a measure, right? And they make a steepness. Many points make a line, and many ordered pairs satisfy the linear equation when plugged in. So what makes a line? Points. A ton of points, right? But we only want the ones that are in the perfect corners for now. So to graph a linear equation, first you plot the y-intercept. Then you use your slope to move up or down, which is called your change in y, or left, right or left, which is called your change of x. Okay, and when you do that, when you put your change of y over your change of x, that's called your slope. So here we go. From this point to this point, how do I get there? What's my slope? What's my measure to get to this point from here? Well, I gotta rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't that your change of y? How did you change your point to get here? Well, you had to go up 5. And then how did you get to the point here? You gotta change your x to the left. -3. So your change of x is -3. So your slope is 5 over -3. Or what's the opposite of this slope? Keep your numbers the same. If this was positive and this was negative, now this is negative and this is positive. Wouldn't that be the opposite? That would mean going down, but to the right. Let's see. Going down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I miss something? 1, 2, 3, 4. How did I get 5, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4. My bad. Okay, 4. And then I went down, so look at that. See? I'm almost there. Now I got to go to the right 3. So 1, 2, 3. Plus 3. So down 4. Sorry guys, I really apologize. I don't know, must have been thinking about something. So 4 and 4. So sorry about that. Okay. So that's it guys. That's all you have to do is find the slope. How did you get from one point to the other? Okay, what's your change in y? And then what's your change in x? And don't forget, if you're going up, that's going to be positive. And if you're going to the left, that's going to be negative. Okay, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. That's it. Why? Why do you need to know that? Because on the SBAC, not the SBAC, well, yeah, the SBAC, but on your interim, but they're going to give you, let's say this graph, and they're going to give you 4 equations. Y equals 3 over 5x plus, 1. Y equals -3 over 5x plus, 1. They're going to give you another one. Y equals, 2 over 5x minus 1. Right? Let's just pretend. And they're going to say, okay, which equation, select the equation that matches that line. So what you're going to have to do is right away, what I want you to do is 1, look at your y-intercept. It's 1, -1. What can you cancel out? Boom and boom. So obviously that could possibly be an answer, because why? The y-intercept is negative. This is positive, so done. This is positive, done. Cancel it out. So just by looking at your y-intercept and just by looking at your slope, you can tell. Now, if you had to choose between this one and this one, right? Which one would you choose? Well, they both have -1, but now you can look at your slope. So look, this is a negative slope. Is that a negative slope? Nope. So obviously that must be your answer. But that's just from you looking at the slope and the y-intercept. So you got to be really good at understanding or finding your slope and your intercept. So, all right, guys. All right, now this one, that's all you have to do. From the equation, tell me, what's your slope? What kind of slope is this? Oh, that's going to be positive. Okay, from your equation, what's your y-intercept? Oh, y-intercept? It's going to be 1. Or 0, 1, right? Oh yeah. From your equation, what is your slope? Oh, it's 1/4. Or give me the opposite. -1 over -4. Those things are the same, because a negative divided by negative is a positive. So really, even if you were to put negatives, they go away. Okay, but for us to know, we can do that. Okay, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Oh, my bad. You're supposed to do that right there. So can you look at an equation and tell me what kind of slope is it? What's the y-intercept? What's the slope? What type of slope is this one? Oh, that's negative. How do I know? Because of that. Okay, next one. What is my slope? Oh, it's -2/3. Or 2 over -3. Right? Make them opposite. And what is your y-intercept? Oh, that's easy. It's -3. Or, on a graph, isn't it that point? Okay. This one right here, this was a special problem because can you create an equation? If I give you a slope and I give you an intercept, if I give you m and if I give you b, can you put it together in an equation? Y equals mx plus or minus, right? B. So let's go ahead and just replace. What is your slope? Oh, your slope is negative. So your slope is negative. So your new equation is going to be y equals -5/3 x. And then what's your b? What's your y-intercept? Oh, it's -2. And there you go. So can I give you a slope and a y-intercept and then you create the equation? Sure. Because you know that this just goes there and this goes there. Now, how do you graph? Okay, well, where do you begin? That's why the b is there. Oh, you begin at -2. Because that's where you're beginning. That's your b in your equation. And now you gotta move. How? Like this. On your y-axis, go down 5 and go to the right 3. So from here, go down 1, 2, 3. Ah, dang. We can't go down 5. Ah, that's where opposite helps me. Okay, if it was -5 and the +3, what's my opposite? +5, -3. Oh, okay. Instead of going down the stairs, I'm going to go up. So I'm going to go up 5, rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run 1, 2, 3. And there you go. There is your line. Okay. Okay, we're done there. Okay, so this one, you could cross off everything. The only thing I want is slope. So what is the slope? Same thing, from this point to this point. Do I need a b? No, I just want to know the slope. I just want to know how steep. How steep is this line? Rise. That's your change in y. How much did you rise? 1. And that's positive. Left. How many? 1, 2, 3. Oh, so change in x. I went to the negatives on my x 3 times. Don't forget, your slope is change of y over change of x. That equals what? 1 over negative 3. Ah, your slope is negative. Check, it's negative. And is this going down? Check, it's negative. That's all you gotta do. Create your triangle. Change in y. Rise 1, 2, 3, that's up. So 3 all over. Oh, look, to the right, that's to the positives of x, 1. And that is your slope. So your answer needs to look like this. How much did you go up on the y? Oh, I went 3 up. And what's your change in x? Oh, I went to the right. That's right, 1. Okay? That's the same thing as 3 over 1, right? Oh, don't forget, that's the same thing as 3. Because 3 divided by 1 is 3. So that's your slope. That's all you got to do here is find your slope. From point to point, from here to here. Rise, run. Give me those triangles. Okay, give me that slope triangle. Count the rise and the run, or count the fall and the run. Okay? All right, so those of you who want to be advanced, okay, you want to be ahead of the game here. From a table, can you find me the slope? From a table, can you find the y-intercept? Y-intercept, isn't that when you have a 0, comma b? Right? Aren't you going to have some number, but x has to be what? 0. So your y-intercept is going to be 0, comma 7. So your equation would look like this. Y equals mx plus 7. So what is your slope? Right? What is your m? What is your slope? Well, didn't we say that it's, gosh dang it, I hate this. Didn't we say that it's the change in y over the change in x? All right, well, let's go see. How is y changing? Look, how did you go from 3 to 5? Find my change in y. Oh, I added 2. How did I go from 5 to 7? Oh, I added 2. 7 to 9? Oh, I added 2. So what's my change in y, guys? Y is changing how? Oh, I'm adding 2. So it's, oh, rising 2. How about my change in x? How is my x changing? Look. How do you go from owing $2 to now you owe $1? Oh, you added $1. How do you go from -1, you owe $1, to you don't owe anything? Oh, you paid back $1. How do you go from 0 to 1? Oh, I added 1. Oh, I added 1. So what's your change in y? I mean, change in x. Oh, it's 1. Hey guys, there's your slope. 2 over 1. So then there you go. You can put this right there. And that's your equation. So if you had to take it like one step further, you would put y equals 2x plus 7. Where did you get the 7? Isn't your y-intercept 0 comma a number? There it is. That's that. And how did you get 2? Oh, because 2, I'm increasing 2 over 1. But I don't need the 1, right? Because 2 divided by 1 is 2. Alright. Alright, I'm going to do this one for you. So guys, what's my change? What's my change in y? How did I only owe, or I owe 17, now I owe 13. I'm adding 4. How do I go from negative 13 to only negative 9? Oh, I added $4. I owe $9. Oh, I only owe 5 now. Oh, I'm adding 4. So what's my change? What's my rise? Oh, it's 4. Over. Now what's my change in x? Oh, it's plus 1. How did I go from 2 to 3? Oh, I add 1. 3 to 4, I add 1. 4 to 5, I add 1. So what's my change in x? How are my x's changing? Oh, okay, by 1. And then if I were to graph, that would mean rise 4, run 1 for graphing. So you got to be able to see how the table is the graph. Aren't these just points? These are just points on your graph. Now, what's your y-intercept? Oh gosh, what's figure 0? Remember how if you add going backwards, the opposite, what would you do? Wouldn't you take away 4 more? Right? To go from negative 5 to negative 9, oh, take away 4. 9, oh, take away 4. Oh, take away 4. Okay, take away 4 more. Negative 21. So what would 0 be? Not 0. How about I go back? Oh, I took away 1. Go back, take away 1. Go back, take away 1. From 2 to 1, take away 1. How about from 1 to go to 0? Oh, you take away 1. So now I'm at 0. And here's your point. That's your y-intercept, isn't it? When x is 0, what is your y? So my y-intercept is negative, I hate that, negative 21 or 0 comma negative 21. Now can you put it together and make an equation? Put your slope and put your y-intercept together. Y equals, oh, my slope was 4 over 1 x. And what's my y-intercept? Negative 21, so minus 21. So can you find an equation from a table? And then could you graph this? Could you make this line? Sure. On your y-axis, that's where you begin, and then you start rising 4 and you start running 1. And you'll get your point. You'll get your line. All right. So that's what you have to do there for my overachievers. All right, guys. That's it. And thank you for studying.